in that motherfucker standing up while you were eating. When they bump down on you, they ask you, is you under the five or is you a rapper? You said a rapper. I got facts about these, man. Hey, man, I'm on your ass, man. You know what I'm talking about, man?
Shiesty is now staring down a reality check that's got his whole fan base questioning everything they thought they knew about him. Behind all those hard bars and that "don't mess with me" persona he's been selling, this man was allegedly getting played like a rookie by the OGs behind those walls. The truth about what went down in that prison is way more embarrassing than anyone imagined, and today, we're about to lay it all out for y'all. What's good, fam? We're diving deep into some real prison politics that's been shaking up the Memphis rap scene and has everybody talking. But before we get into this wild story, let me keep it 100. Social media has been buzzing with rumors about how Pooh Shiesty was moving behind bars, and an OG recently came forward spilling exactly what kind of time this rapper was really on. Now we're about to separate fact from fiction, real from fake, and show y'all what went down when this so-called street menace got locked up. For those who don't know, Pooh Shiesty built his whole career on being untouchable, a certified gangster from South Memphis. He rapped about bodies, shootouts, and running the streets like nothing could touch him. Fans looked at him like he was living that life for real, like he was one of the hardest in the game. But according to this OG who did time with him, that tough guy image fell apart fast once the cell doors closed. Hold up. Before y'all think this is just some hater chasing clout, the details this OG dropped are specific, detailed, and they paint a totally different picture of Pooh Shiesty than what we see in music videos. And here's where it gets really spicy. What allegedly happened to him in prison is something that could wreck his street cred for good. So, let's rewind and talk about who Pooh Shiesty really is and how he even got to this point. Born Lontrell Dental Williams Jr. in Memphis, Tennessee, this dude wasn't just some random kid trying to rap. Nah, fam, Pooh Shiesty was born into a family of straight-up gangsters. His pops was a known street figure and founder of the label Mob Ties. So from day one, this kid was surrounded by that life. Growing up in the Cane Creek apartments in South Memphis, Pooh Shiesty was supposed to be cut from the same cloth as his father. He was meant to be this tough guy who inherited that gangster DNA. His childhood was loaded with stories of his pops running the streets, getting locked up, and living that dangerous lifestyle. So naturally, Pooh Shiesty tried to follow in those footsteps. By age 11, he was already getting expelled from middle school and facing charges. He was rocking ankle monitors before he even hit puberty. The streets knew him as a wild little dude who was always into something, always causing chaos. That's actually how he got the name Shiesty, known for finessing people and moving sneaky with his actions. And in the hood, reputation is everything. Pooh Shiesty was building his by being a straight menace. He linked up with his childhood homie Big 30 and other young savages from the area, and together they built what would become one of Memphis's most notorious crews, Choa Gang. Let me break down for y'all what Choa Gang really means in Memphis. This isn't just some rap clique or a group of kids claiming a set for clout. Nah, Choa Gang is a hybrid squad made up of multiple major sets across South Memphis and Whitehaven. We're talking real street dudes grinding for money by any means necessary. The name Choa Gang comes from their rep for always packing heavy, guns, choppers, AKs, drows, all that serious hardware. These guys were known for hitting licks, robbing other crews, and moving recklessly across the city. Members included Big 30, Little Hank, and Antwop, all certified in the streets. But here's where it gets interesting. Choa Gang wasn't just about street life. They were smart enough to leverage their rep to create a music movement. Big 30 got signed first to Moneybagg Yo's label, and once his music started buzzing, it opened doors for the whole crew. Shiesty started dropping tracks non-stop, and his raw, aggressive energy caught the attention of none other than Gucci Mane. Real talk, Gucci saw that same fire in Shiesty that he had back in the day, a genuine street menace who feared nothing. So Gucci signed him to 1017 Records under Atlantic, giving Shiesty a major label deal and putting Memphis on the map in a whole new way. The streets have been talking about how Choa Gang had bodies on their name, involved in multiple shootings and robberies throughout Memphis. Pooh Shiesty even had beef with other Memphis rappers like Big Boogie, and his cousin Big Scar was locked in a brutal war with a crew called R. This whole movement was built on violence, street credibility, and that raw Memphis energy. When Pooh Shiesty dropped Back in Blood with Lil Durk, that track became an instant anthem. He was rapping about real events, real robberies, and street beef with a rival gang called EBG. The song went crazy, #1 on Billboard, 50 million views in just a month. Pooh Shiesty was on top of the world, and his image as a fearless gangster was cemented in the eyes of his fans. But yo, here's where the story goes deeper than just music and street cred. All that wild behavior eventually caught up to him. The real kicker? Pooh Shiesty's world came crashing down after an incident in Miami. Allegedly, he robbed some dudes in a parking lot, a drug deal gone wrong where shots were fired, people got hurt, and Pooh Shiesty and his crew fled the scene in a green McLaren. The craziest part? This all went down right across the street from the police department.
On just one station, surveillance cameras showing a new view of a violent shootout in a parking lot of a South Florida apartment building. The barrage of bullets sending 2 people to the hospital, and it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox.
When the feds caught up with him, Pooh Shiesty was hit with serious charges.
And it lands a rapper in jail. 7 Sheldon Fox with the exclusive.
Rhode Island says you're wanted with it.
Mr. Williams, you were arrested for pursuant to an arrest.
Conspiracy, robbery, and firearms charges that could lock him up for decades. This wasn't some local case you could wiggle out of with a good lawyer. Nah, fam, this was federal time, and the feds don't play around. Eventually, Pooh Shiesty took a plea deal and got hit with a 5-year sentence in federal prison. For his fans, this was a gut punch. They were hoping he'd beat the case or at least get a lighter sentence, but reality hit hard. Their favorite rapper, the guy they saw as untouchable, a true street legend, was going to be locked up during the prime of his career. Now, for those who haven't been following how prison politics work, let me break something down real quick. In federal facilities, there's a whole hierarchy and set of unspoken rules that inmates must follow. Gang members control certain yards, and if you're not affiliated or if you're seen as weak, you get tested immediately. There's even this thing in some prisons where certain inmates are forced to stand up while eating in the child hall. This treatment is usually reserved for those lowest on the hierarchy, sex offenders, snitches, or non-gang members with no protection. If you're standing while everyone else sits comfortably, that's a public signal. You're someone's victim. You're being punked. You got no respect. Let that sink in. In the streets, being forced to stand while others eat means you're beneath them. It's one of the harshest forms of disrespect behind bars because it's so public. Now, this is where we got to talk about what the OG said about Pooh Shiesty. In a viral video, an older inmate who did time with him came forward with shocking allegations. According to this OG, when Pooh Shiesty first arrived at the facility, other gang members approached him to ask what he claimed. In prison culture, asking what you claim means asking your gang affiliation and which set you rep. Your claim determines who's got your back, where you can move on the yard, and how much respect you get. For someone like Pooh Shiesty, who rapped about Chopper Gang and being a street menace, you'd expect him to claim his set proudly, right? But the OG says when he was asked, he allegedly said he was just a rapper and not affiliated with any gang. For anyone not familiar with the significance, this is huge. By denying gang ties, Pooh Shiesty was signaling that he was a civilian. No protection, no power behind him. The OG went on to say that because of this, he was treated like a non-affiliate. And what happens to non-affiliates in prison? They get the worst treatment. According to the OG, Pooh Shiesty was forced to stand while eating his meals, just like sex offenders and snitches. The OG said, and I quote, "You were standing up while you ate. When they bumped into you, they asked you 5 or you a rapper. You said rapper. You let a dude disrespect you and made you stand and eat your food." That's straight up embarrassing. Think about it. This is the same guy rapping about robbing people, shooting at ops, and being fearless. But behind bars, when tested by real convicts, he allegedly folded and accepted being treated like nobody. The real shocker is that this contradicts everything he built his career on: toughness, respect, never backing down. If the OG is telling the truth, Pooh Shiesty moved like a scared civilian in prison. Now let's break down why this is such a bad look. In hip-hop, authenticity is everything. Fans don't just want dope music, they want to believe the rapper lives what they spit. When rappers get exposed as not being as real as they claim, it crushes credibility. Standing while eating in prison is one of the most humiliating things that can happen. It's a public declaration of weakness and victimhood. The fact that Pooh Shiesty allegedly went through this and didn't push back shocks his fans. But here's where it gets complicated. We have to look at it from multiple angles. On one side, fans feel betrayed. The image of Pooh Shiesty as a real street dude is shattered. On the other hand, some argue he made a smart move by not claiming gang affiliation. Federal time is different from state time, and getting tangled in gang politics behind bars can add years to a sentence. Maybe Pooh Shiesty was just trying to serve his time quietly and get out as fast as possible so he could jump back into his music career. The streets have been buzzing about how this situation exposes a bigger issue in hip-hop, the line between being a street dude and being a rapper who talks about the streets. A lot of artists grew up in rough neighborhoods and were involved in some street stuff, but that doesn't automatically make them gang members or built for prison life. Real talk, prison is a whole different world. The rules are different, the consequences are way more severe, and the people you're dealing with are hardened criminals with nothing to lose. It's possible Pooh Shiesty realized he was in over his head and decided to protect himself by staying out of gang politics, even if it meant taking some disrespect. But here's the problem. Pooh Shiesty built his entire brand on being a fearless gangster. He rapped about robbing people, shooting at ops, and never backing down. His fans bought into that image because they believed it was authentic. So when these allegations drop that he got punked in prison, it shakes his credibility. For those who haven't been following, this isn't the first time a rapper's prison behavior has been questioned. We've seen other rappers who talk tough end up in protective custody or checking in when they get locked up. The difference is that most of those situations didn't go public like this one. The real question is, does this change how we view Pooh Shiesty's music? Does it matter if he moved differently in prison than he portrayed in his songs? Some fans say they don't care about his prison politics, they just want good music. Others feel lied to and say they can't support an artist who isn't authentic. At the end of the day, Pooh Shiesty's situation isn't just about prison. It's about the consequences of building your image on being something you might not be able to maintain in every situation. It's about the pressure of being a street rapper and having to live up to that image 24/7, even behind bars, surrounded by real killers and gang members. Hip-hop culture has always valued authenticity, but we also have to recognize that prison is built to break people down. Maybe Pooh Shiesty made the smart move by avoiding gang politics and doing his time peacefully. Or maybe he really did fold under pressure and showed he's not as tough as his music claims. The real question is, what happens when he gets out? Will fans still support him, knowing these allegations? Will other rappers and street dudes respect him or see him as someone exposed? And most importantly, will Pooh Shiesty address these claims, defend himself, or stay quiet and hope people forget? One thing is certain, this situation sparked a major conversation about authenticity in hip-hop and the difference between being a rapper and being a gangster. Not everyone who grows up in the hood is built for prison life, and maybe that's okay. But if you're gonna rap about being a fearless street legend, you better be ready for people to hold you to that standard. What do you think about Pooh Shiesty's situation and his future in the rap game? Do these allegations hurt his credibility, or was staying out of prison politics the smart move? Drop your thoughts in the comments and click on the video on screen for more content exposing what really goes down in the industry. Until next time, fam, stay real and stay